intel a couple of weeks ago was that Joe Danaher would play. What's your intel on Patrick Dangerfield?
No, I've got less contacts at Geelong than I do at Essendon. We just have no option but to prepare for him to play. That he's such an important player to them, but I think the strength of Geelong this year have been the depth of talent. Really introduced some really good new players, some good young players, and but obviously they're a better side with Dangerfield in it, so that'll be the way that we'll prepare.
What have you noticed is different about them? There's been a bit of talk about the pressure and the small forwards and how they've controlled the ball, but what in general, from a coach's perspective, have you noticed about them from last year?
Just they've been pretty complete. They haven't allowed the opposition to play the way they want to play. They played some good teams, and very rarely have those teams been able to get the game on their terms. So Geelong have been, very methodical in the way that they've attacked, and they've got a very experienced and solid defence. But I think the standout feature for me is just the way that they've been able to dictate games and get the game on their terms. So that's going to be our biggest challenge, to try and get the game looking how we want it to look.
Jack Ziebell was sensational about Patrick Cripps this week. I suppose, who does he go to? There's a number that he could, possibly Tim Kelly? Or?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, Kelly's in good form, but again, they've got, you see Dangerfield having limited impact through injury last week, and Selwood not playing at all, but they still got the job done through the midfield. So there's a variety, and I think we've still got to work on the balance between stopping a really good opposition player and what I really liked about Jack's game last week was not only the role on Cripps, but he's also really influential around the contest for us as well. So whoever he plays on, I think it's important that he strikes the balance, and he's our captain, and we want him to get things going our way.
How hard will it be for Ben Brown this week, I suppose, the way the Cats zone back and that full press, just to find space as a lead-up forward?
Yeah, they work so well together, and Taylor's back there now, and Blitzarves he's won a couple of best and fairest Blitzarves, and he's a very versatile player, but he looks right at home in defence, and they've got some other guys that usually play sort of third, fourth, fifth tall defenders that are almost key defenders in their own right. So it's going to be really important that we have other options to goal, and Ben's an influential player, so hopefully he draws a couple to them and opens up some gaps in the otherwise pretty solid Geelong defence.
Do you look into his record against the Cats previously? I think he's kicked 5 goals in 6 games.
Yeah. But again, we really think that Ben can be influential without hitting the score. But I'd use the example of Cameron Zurhaar kicking 5 last week, and he got a lot of opportunities on the back of other players' really good work. And I think if you want to be a good forward structure, then you've got to accept that some guys are going to kick the goals some weeks, but if you keep playing consistently, that'll probably ebb and flow. This week we'd be equally as delighted if Cam Zurhaar doesn't kick a goal but sets up 5 others.
Any reason why you can't cause an upset? There's been plenty of upsets this year.
No, the competition does set up for, if teams really on and other teams a little bit off, then there can be a really wide swing in the margin. So we really, our attitude's always to set the game up to if we play the game the way we want it to be played, then we can win it. And Geelong have been really solid, but the challenge is going to be the look of the game. If we can get it our way, then I think the result will largely take care of itself. But if we just allow Geelong to do what they've been doing, then they're rated the best team in the competition at the moment for a reason.
How are Scott Thompson and Luke McDonald looking?
They're touch and go. I think we've got to make a decision whether we name them in the squad, which we probably will, just because we've got to put that in tonight. We don't play till Sunday, so I suspect we'll put them in and then test them later in the week, and then we'll have our contingency set up around that. But the way they're looking right now, they won't do a whole heap of training today, so it'll more likely be a Saturday test.
Give us an update on Majak's progress.
He's going well. He's now at the stage where we've got to monitor his training load. He's back doing a fair bit of running, a lot of work in the gym. And so now we're just looking at the progression through to when he joins more main training sessions. You would have all seen the vision of him doing some warm-up and looking really good. But the initial acute phase of his recovery is over. Now it's just monitoring his load to make sure that we progress him and he doesn't have a setback from here.
And a time frame, do you think? Can you put one on or not?
No, I wish we could, but we just can't at this stage. Hopefully once he joins in main training, then we'll be able to give you a time frame. But right at the moment, it's still too far away to be definitive about it.
And Sunday, Mother's Day, your mum doesn't really get a chance. She has to be at the footy.
Well, yeah, the AFL tell me they had absolutely no idea, which I'm a little bit cynical about. But no, you can look at it two ways. It's win-win for mum or lose-lose. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's a tough one for her. And Chris and I just like to go about our business, but there's obviously a lot of family that can't win.
How different has the week been, Brad, after last week? You've got so much pressure and then you come up with a performance like last week. But
Not too different. I mean, we work really hard on making it not too different. We accept that we've got to focus on the facts and what we think is really important. And while we were, as I said, post-game, we were pleased with the game, but I mean, we're not in a position to be satisfied with it. So the week has been about reinforcing what we did well and making sure we can replicate that. We're cognizant that we play a really good opposition, but they can't stop us doing what we want to do, and they can't stop our effort, they can't stop our pressure. So if we are able to produce that at the required level, then we're confident we can be competitive.